Hello everybody, Wannabe Reviewer here, and welcome back to the Wannabe Podcast, episode 29. Before we begin this week's podcast, I just want to say, did you know that my podcast is an enemy to the music industry? I mean, it is just this ridiculous article that the Washington Post put out that I was reading earlier that, I want to share it in the sense of making fun of it, but I'm not going to link it because I don't want this person who posted it to have the pleasure of people clicking on their dumb article. But it is this ridiculous article I was reading earlier today where the title is literally, "Are podcasts killing music or just wasting our time?" And then under that it says, "Why would you listen to a podcast when you could be listening to music?" And the author of this article is the embodiment of that, that meme, from The Simpsons, where Grandpa Simpson's yelling at a cloud, and it says, old man yelling at cloud, because it's just, an old person who just doesn't like things and they won't shut up about it. If you read the article, it's just this nonsense where the guy's basically saying that, podcasts are, enemies to the music industry because they take, listeners away from music somehow. And he says that he hates all podcasts because they're done so unprofessionally. And I don't know, it's just this weird article. Basically, it's this guy who just doesn't like podcasts, and he's trying to make this big deal about how they're ruining music, which makes no sense. All the people in the comments are just you can choose what you listen to. You can listen to both. Or, some people like podcasts because they like getting little news updates and stuff. And I don't know. I just thought it was ridiculous, but I just really wanted to share that because I don't know. I mean, I run a podcast and I'm proud of it, but apparently according to some people, I'm an enemy to the music industry. I don't know. I just thought it was a weird story. I thought I'd share that. Like I said, I don't want to link the article itself because I don't want to give clicks to that author. But if you want to go look it up, feel free. It's from the Washington Post. And yeah, I mean, what can I say? Whenever you're listening to my podcast, I mean, you're making a brave choice, I guess. So there you go. With that being said, though, that little rant aside, I have quite a few things planned for this week's docket. I watched quite a few things, played quite a few things, and there's quite a few interesting news stories. So with that out of the way, I guess we should just dive in, And as always, I'm going to start with anime, not manga. I haven't had a chance to read manga, but I'm going to start with anime. I guess I'll continue, with a bit of an update of how all the anime I talked about last week are doing. And when it comes to Fruits Basket, watch the second episode of it. I thought the second episode was pretty good. Our protagonist, Toru, they show her interacting with more people from that household. They tell her about the secret of when people from that household, they have I guess a curse that whenever they get touched by somebody of the opposite gender or they're sick, that's kind of a weird one, they turn into animals of the zodiac. And, not too much happens. It's just her getting used to that family, interacting more with the characters. You can see a little bit of romance blooming, that sort of thing. And not too much happens, but it was cute, the visuals are nice. The characters, they seem interesting so far. They each have their personality and thing going on. And it was cute, So second episode, I liked it. Would continue to recommend it. So far, really liking Fruits Basket. I think it's really nice and really cute. So would recommend. When it comes to Demon Slayer is probably one of my favorites this season. Second episode was really good. Basically, as I said last week, it left off where our main character, had his sister and he wants to transform her back into a human because right now she's infected by demon blood. And so she's kind of turning. And sure enough, he shows up at this old man's house. Actually, no. He shows it up at a shrine, and the old man arrives, is what happens. And from there, the old man has him do this crazy test where he dumps him in the woods, and he tells him you have to run back to the base of the mountain, before the sun comes up. And the guy is okay, I guess I'll do it. And of course, there's all these crazy traps, and it's basically a death sentence, but we see our main character, do his best. And I don't know, I think it was a pretty solid second episode. We see, the guy who's going to train this kid so he can be a demon slayer. We see more of the sister. I mean, she did a bit of fighting. That was kind of cool. We're introduced to his mentor character. He seems interesting. He's a gruff old man. It seems there's some, you know, it looks like there's a bit of backstory there. It'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table. And yeah, so far, you know, Demon Slayer looks really good, really interesting premise, and same thing, you know, I recommend it. So far, the 2 episodes I've seen have been really well, have gone really well, and I am interested to see where the story goes. So Demon Slayer, would recommend. Looks like a good show so far. When it comes to One Punch Man Season 2, I watched the 2nd episode, and yeah, the quality really dipped, I would say. Like, how can I explain it? Like, the fighting and, like, the visuals seem very off, if that makes sense. You know, like, I'm not the best at explaining, like, animation stuff, but, like, a lot of the fight is, like, very static. Like, you'll notice that they're supposed to do a move, and there's like barely like any movement on screen, and there's like all sorts of cuts, you know? Like it'll be like someone throws a punch, and it'll be like very static. And then there'll be like a reaction shot where like, you know, it shows the person is like on the floor. And during all these fights and all this action, you'll notice that it cuts a lot to like people's faces, but it's not even like their faces moving like they're talking or reacting. It's just like a still of their face, and it's like their thoughts, you know, so they're not even like moving their lips. And so I don't know, like the quality definitely declined. It looked very cheap. You know, even compared to like last episode, it seemed like they were cutting a lot of corners. And the story itself, I also felt like it was really off. It felt like they shoved a lot into one episode. Like we get introduced to, I mean, I'm guessing who might be like a big antagonist this season. We get, you know, introduced to this lady who's like a superhero, and she wants Saitama to join like her guild, I guess you can call it, like her little group, and he refuses, and then someone else shows up to fight, and so he's fighting Genos like outside over there, and Saitama's over here fighting somebody else, and I don't know, I just feel like it shoved so many things together. I felt like it just jumped all over the place, and yeah, I mean, I just felt it was off, and I haven't even read the manga. Afterwards, I looked it up, and people who have read the manga said that, yeah, they are rushing it way too much. So, unfortunately, like, I don't know, I mean, like, I feel like One Punch Man Season 2, like, I guess it's still passable right now, you know, 2 episodes in, but it's definitely like heading downhill, I would say. Like the fact that they're shoving so much story into like each episode, and the fact that the quality like really declined, where like I said, the fights just look really cheap, and there's all this like cutting corners, like it's disappointing, you know? Like I don't know why One Punch Man's suffering so much. But yeah, you know, right now, I guess I would recommend it. You know, hopefully they don't cut too much corners. I mean, maybe there's just some episodes that are weaker than others, I would hope. But as of right now, I recommend it, but like barely. Because I feel like it's not that great. Like it feels off, you know? So there you go. Moving on, I talked about a show last week called We Never Learn, and We Never Learn, I mean, I'm not going to drop it. I never drop a show. If I like really dislike it, what I do is I wait till the end of the season and then just like binge the episodes maybe at like double speed or something just to like get through them quickly. I don't know. It's just like a thing of mine where I never drop an anime. I don't know why. It's just like a personal thing. But yeah, We Never Learn, I don't recommend it. It's just not very interesting. You know, that's the one where I said that's about this kid that if he wants like this scholarship that pays for all of his university like fees, he has to tutor these 2 girls. One who's like really good at math and science, but she wants to get like into literature. One who's like really good at literature and English and, you know, whatever you want to call it, writing, but she wants to get into science. And yeah, the 2nd episode, I don't know, like they introduced this 3rd girl that's like a childhood friend, and she's really good at swimming. She's like, you know, a natural at it, and she's like Olympic level, I guess, because she's so good. And I guess he has to tutor her because she just sucks at all subjects. And I don't know, the episode was just introducing the girl, him trying to tutor her, and the science girl at the same time, and there's like some tropey romance things, and like, I don't know, it's just not interesting. Like, each of the girls feels way too tropey. And honestly, if you want to watch an anime that's like kind of like, you know, harem thing where like there's like a love interest with all of the girls and they each have like a different personality, I mean, you might as well watch like the quintessential quintuplets, because that one at least had like the story of like them being sisters, and they felt tropey, but at the same time they didn't, because they did feel a little more like deep, you know? They didn't just feel like walking cliches. So it just feels like a cheap knockoff version of that. So I don't recommend it, you know? I just think it's really boring. I don't think it's really interesting. So We Never Learn. I think it's also called like Boku Ben in Japanese. Do not recommend, you know? I would say don't watch it. I say it's not worth it, so, you know. Moving on, Carole and Tuesday. That's the one that I said is very hard to come by because right now it's only releasing on Japanese Netflix. But if you can manage to get your hand on the episodes, online somewhere, I think it's really good. The visuals are very nice. The story is like really interesting. The character designs are really cool. And the music's pretty good so far. Like they've barely really dipped into the music, but it's really nice so far. Basically, that's the one where I said it's about two girls, one poor and one rich, that they team up because they want to play music. And in this second episode, we actually get to see them perform a song. And yeah, it was just really nice because they kind of give some more like backstory and they're expanding upon the lore of this universe. It's in the future, takes place on Mars, it's been colonized, all that good stuff. And apparently because it's the future, all music is made by AIs. And there's like this pop singer that you see, she's like in this lab and this guy is like trying to like basically use her as a puppet. Since all music is made by AIs, they're going to make her like the perfect pop star by just having her, I guess, like lip sync whatever music they want her to, or I don't know what they're going to do with her, but you can tell that they're not making like real music. Like it's so manufactured, right? And I guess Carole and Tuesday, like their thing is that they're making like actual music, like they're making it themselves and it's not manufactured. And so I guess, like the anime is kind of saying something about like the music industry, about like real people making like actual music with like heart to it versus like manufactured music. So like that's kind of interesting. And yeah, I mean, it's really good so far. I think like the characters are just real fun. I mean, they're like this part, minor spoiler where Carole goes, she's looking for like a new job and I guess they hire her to go to a funeral and like she has to like cry for like the person who died because he really wanted to keep up appearances that like a lot of people miss him now that he's dead. And so she's supposed to go up there and cry, but when she's thinking of stuff that's supposed to make her cry, like she's being bullied and stuff, she remembers when she was a kid and she was like beating up this like other kid that tried bullying her and she like starts laughing in the middle of the funeral. And then it cuts back to her going to her apartment and she's like, "You'll never believe it, but I got fired from another job." And she's like super disappointed. And like, I don't know, it's just moments like that that are really funny where you kind of see like a bit of like the character moments and stuff. And so, Carole and Tuesday, really enjoying it. I think it's really, like I said, great visuals. Music's been pretty good so far. Character designs and like character moments are really fun. And yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of hard to come by, but if you can get a hand on it, I recommend it highly. Like, I think that's another one of my favorites from this season. It just looks really good, and it looks like it has like a lot of heart to it. So, keep an eye out for it. Moving on to new anime, I did watch 2 new series because I just heard about them here and there on the internet. Well, actually, one of them I heard about on the internet, and this one I'm about to talk about, I have a friend of mine who told me about it. Yeah, I watched this show called The Helpful Fox Senko-san. And like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings on it, all right? Like my friend, he's very into anime and I'm just gonna say it. I mean, if he's embarrassed, I mean, he doesn't even listen to it. Who cares? Like, he's kind of a weirdo. Like, he's very otaku-ish and he's like into lollies and all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, that's the way he is. I don't know. And so he's like, "Yeah, watch this show. It's very cute, blah, blah, blah." And I was kind of hesitant because I'm like, oh God, I know what he's into. I don't want the FBI showing up at my door. Thanks to you for, I just said his name, whatever. And whatever, I saw that other people were giving it like high reviews. So I watched it. And basically, the premise of the Helpful Fox Senko-san is that there's this salaryman who you can tell he's like overworked and he hates his job. And like he's like so full of stress and negativity that there's like this dark aura around him. And I guess there's like these like fox creatures that, I don't know what realm they're in, heaven, whatever. And they're like looking down on Earth and they see that this guy just has so much negativity to him. And so this little fox like girl says like, "Oh, I'll go take care of him to like get rid of some of that negativity." And so sure enough, he gets home and there's like this little fox girl and she's like making food in his house. And at first he thinks he has the wrong house, right? So he like closes the door. He's like, "Wait, no, this is my apartment." Opens it back up. She's still there. He closes it again and he's like, "Who is this kid?" And he even has like, it is kind of funny because he's like very aware Like, he's very, like, I guess you can say, like, almost genre aware, because he is, like, if someone sees that some little girl dressed as a fox is in my house, they're gonna think I'm a pervert, and, like, the police are gonna come for me. So he tries to, like, kick her out, but that's when he sees that she's, like, supernatural and stuff. And basically, from there, she introduces herself. She says she's, like, a kitsune god or whatever, and she says that, you know, she's, like, 800 years old, because of course she is, that's the way anime works. And she says that, you know, basically she's there to make him feel better and to get rid of the negativity in his life. And so basically, like, the 2 episodes I watched, it's all about him being, like, very stressed out from work, and, you know, like, he doesn't eat right, he doesn't sleep right, he's always really stressed. And it's her helping him, basically, you know, whether it's cooking him a meal or doing his laundry or helping him get to sleep, you know, that sort of thing. And so, you know, on the one hand, it is very cute. And it is very chill. Like, you're watching it and it is a very, you know, chill show. It helps you relax. It is really nice seeing how this guy who hates his life and he's just full of negativity. It is nice to see this, you know, benevolent creature come down and help him. Like, that part of the show's nice. It is very cute. But on the other hand, like, it just feels like too much wish fulfillment, you know? And it feels kind of pathetic, because if you take into account, like, Japanese culture, and you remember that, like, everyone over there is, like, really overworked, and especially like men over there, they're, like, so overworked and they're so afraid to even talk to the opposite sex and stuff. And you kind of watch the show and you kind of realize, like, oh, like, this is the ultimate wish fulfillment for all these lonely people. And that's why at the end of each episode, for like 5 minutes, Senko-san talks to you, the viewer, which is, like, really sad. So yeah, I don't know. Like, on the one hand, like I said, you know, it does have some good qualities to it. It is very chill. It is very cute, but it also feels, like, really sad when you realize that this is probably wish fulfillment for all those lonely people who don't have anything in their lives. And so the anime is trying to pander to them and be like, hey, look, cute little fox girl talks to you at the end of each episode. So I don't know, you know, I mean, it's up to you. I don't know if I should recommend it or not. I mean, I guess if you're lonely, I guess watch it. I checked it out. It has its good, it has its bad. It's up to you if you watch it. There you go. Finally, the last anime that I want to talk about is a show that is just, like, one of the weirdest I've seen. All right? Like, it feels like taking psychedelic drugs, because it is just such a trippy, weird, abstract type of show. All right? So it's called Sarazanmai. I think that's how you say it, is Sarazanmai. And it's hard to explain, honestly. Like, it's just so nonsensical and weird. I guess the best way I can explain it, it feels like a magical girl show, but the 3 protagonists are boys, and they don't transform into like Sailor Moon style, where they just have, like, a new outfit. They transform into, like, little kappa creatures. Yeah, it's weird. Like, basically the show starts, these 2 kids, they're fighting and they break a kappa statue. And this kappa, which for any of you who don't know, it's like a weird, like, turtle mythological creature from Japan. It pops up and it's really mad at them for breaking the statue. And so it turns them into kappas. And a 3rd classmate of theirs, he ends up, you know, stumbling upon them. And because he insults the kappa by calling him a frog, he also gets turned into a kappa, you know, even though he didn't break the statue. And basically there's, like, this weird lore to the show where as kappas, they can, like, see the spirit world. And there's all these weird, like, kappa zombies that are, like, running on desire, and basically they have to, like, fight these kappa zombies, extract the desire out of them, and desire, for whatever reason, you pull out of someone's butt. Like, I don't know, that's a weird Japanese thing, I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, these kids are kappas. If they want to get transformed back, they have to fight the kappa zombies. They have to, like, you know, pull the desire out of them, because, you know, all these people are using their desire to, like, distort the world. So they have to, you know, like, fight these people, remove the desires from them. Once they do, you know, that helps make the world better or whatever. And then every time that they fight one of these kappa zombies, they say the title of the show, which is Sarazanmai or something like that. And when they do, before they transform back into humans, like, their thoughts and like they meld, I guess. And so everyone sees, like, a secret of one of the guys in the group. So, like, in the first episode, I'll just kind of, like, light spoilers. You know, there's the kid who's, like, really shy, and, you know, he's running around holding a box all the time, and you don't really know what his deal is. And there's a kid who he's like a total delinquent. And we see him breaking into cars. We see him helping his older brother torture some guy that owes money, blah, blah, blah. Delinquent guy. And there's a third kid who he's friends with the first kid, and he's like, nerdy. He has glasses. It seems like they've been friends since like, I don't know, way back. And they've been really into like soccer, and he's disappointed that like the first kid doesn't want to play soccer anymore, whatever, right? So basically, like I said, once they defeat like the first Kappa zombie and their minds kind of like meld together and they see the secret of the first kid, they see that apparently he's been cross-dressing as this idol, and he takes selfies and sends them to his little brother because his little brother is like a huge fan of this like idol that's like all over the news, all over the TV. And I guess he wants him to help his little brother like feel good about himself. And so he pretends that he's that idol and that, he's friends with the little brother or whatever. And so, that guy's embarrassed with that. He says nobody understands him. So he's dealing with that. And like I said, the other kid, he's dealing with being a delinquent. He's dealing with like his brother, issues there. And then at the end of the second episode, yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but the kid with glasses, he has a secret too. And so I don't know, it's just like a really trippy show. It's very weird. Like there's psychedelic images everywhere and it's really abstract. In each episode I've seen so far, there's like a random dance number for no reason. I don't know, but it seems interesting because it's just very creative. And like I said, the fact that these kids each have like secrets going on, and then I guess they kind of share secrets with each other inadvertently each time they fight one of these like zombie things, like that's interesting. I don't know if I recommend it though, because it's just so weird that I know it's not going to be for everybody, but I guess if you're into like really trippy stuff, like really psychedelic, really out there, out of the box anime, I guess I suggest it and I recommend it, If not, I guess stay away if you're not really into that. But yeah, it's just a very strange anime. I saw people talking about it and I was really curious. And after watching the first 2 episodes, I just walked away like so confused because it is so weird. But it's interesting, I am interested to see where it goes. So do I recommend it? As I said, if you're into like really trippy, really out there stuff, I guess so. And if you're not, then, probably avoid it because it'll probably like annoy you or be too weird for you. But I don't know. Just when you think you've seen everything there is to offer in anime, something new comes along. So there you go, Don't really know what else to say. When it comes to movies, I watched a movie that I just put a review up of on Wednesday. I watched Shazam. I didn't watch it this week. I actually watched it last week, but I didn't really want to talk about it until the review is up. So if you're interested on my like full thoughts about it, you can go watch my review. It's over on Wannabe Reviewer, my YouTube channel. Just to give like a quick summary, I liked it. I thought Shazam was really fun. Yeah, it's not gonna be for everybody. I know, some people don't like that kind of stuff, but personally, I did like it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a nice breath of fresh air. Because all of the other, DCEU movies have been like so edgy and like there's no color to them, that sort of thing. So I thought it was nice just seeing this movie about this kid with powers and he's having fun with the powers and, that sort of thing. So I like the movie. I would recommend it. I think if you like silly comedy, slapsticky stuff, I think you'll like it. And like I said, if you want more of a detailed review, you can go check it out on my YouTube channel. So that's that. Moving on, I played 2 games this week. The first one I want to talk about is that I played Volume 2. I guess I can say I played the second piece of DLC for Travis Strikes Again. It's called Volume 2 Bubblegum Fatale. And basically, the first one was all about you get to play as Shinobu, and they added like some backstory for Batman, that sort of thing, plus like some moves or whatever. And this DLC thing, they add more story for Travis, which I thought was really good, actually. It sucks that it's like in visual novel style instead of like cutscenes, but it was still really interesting because they add like all sorts of stuff that's like really like setting things up for No More Heroes 3, I think. Like they introduce characters, they bring back characters, they reveal a lot about Travis's personal life between, the second game and this one, which I thought was really cool. And there was a reveal that I called back since the first game. So all the people who like didn't believe me when I said that thing, y'all can suck it, But anyway, that aside, they reveal a lot of things about Travis. I thought that was fun. And so yeah, the visual novel thing was cool. Like I said, it definitely set up a lot for the third game. I'm super excited. And it came with a new level, which is basically like one of the levels in the main game that when you play it, like it's unfinished for whatever reason. So here they give you like the full level, and it was pretty good. It's called Killer Marathon, and basically you just have to like race to like different checkpoints. There's like a time limit, and it was hard, honestly. Because of like the time limits, it's actually really hard because you have to like try to defeat enemies or run past them or like, you know, that sort of thing in the time limit. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a challenge. The boss was really good. Like his boss track, like when you're fighting him, I think it's probably one of like the best in the game. Like it's really good. And finally, you know, once you beat that, you get to play as Bad Girl, and I really like playing as her. She's really fun to play as. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I feel like she's like the fastest out of the 4 playable characters. So I really like that. And I like her moves too. Like the moves that are specific to her. One is where she like lights her bat on fire, and then whenever you like whack something, like it explodes on contact. So like that's just like really satisfying. You know, there's whacking people and there's like explosions going off. Like the feedback is really nice. And then another one of her moves, she does like a big wind up, and then she like hits something like super hard. It's like a really hard swing that does like a whole bunch of damage. Like it's hard to like, you know, it's hard to hit because if you get hit while you're winding up, you know, you get canceled. But if you can manage to like land it, it's also really satisfying. And so, you know, I enjoyed playing as Bad Girl. I thought that she was a really good addition. If there's one thing I didn't like about the DLC, it's that they don't give you like a new ending, you know? Because if the whole point of this game is Badman trying to like revive his daughter, you'd think that once he revives her, there'd be some sort of ending, right? Like maybe some sort of, you know, what does she think of Travis killing her in the past? Is she mad? Is she over it? Like, what's the deal? But literally, like you revive her and she comes back into like herself, and basically, you know, Travis just goes like, oh, this is gonna suck. I hope she's not mad. I hope she doesn't go psychotic. And her dad just goes like, yeah, you know, no mushy stuff. I'm happy she's back, but we're each gonna live our separate lives, you know, whatever. She's her own person. And that's it. So it's like, you know, I would have liked some sort of conclusion, some sort of wrap up, you know. Is she mad at Travis? I don't know. You know, that's the only part that kind of disappointed me. But besides that, really enjoyed it. Thought it was a really good piece of DLC. Would recommend it, you know. Even though Travis Strikes Again isn't the best game, I still really like it. I think if you're a fan of the series, you will enjoy it. I think the DLC is definitely worth it, you know. It adds a lot, you know, I thought it was fun. So, you know, that's that. And the other thing that I played that I had been looking forward to for quite a while is I played the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I guess you can call it like 3.0 update. And that update brought a lot. It added Joker from Persona 5. He's really fun to play as. I really enjoyed playing as him. It added a stage builder mode finally, which it's really in depth. Like I want to say it's almost too in depth, you know? Like I honestly don't even know what to make because there's just so much options. So, you know, I have no creativity at the moment. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look for like other people's levels and play those, you know, honestly. And it also added like this like video editor, which is really cool, where you basically, you know, you can record your fights and you could like edit videos together to make like different montages and stuff. That's really fun. And so, yeah, I mean, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it continues to deliver. You know, it just has so much to it. Like it's so worth it. It's so worth the money, you know? Like if you own a Nintendo Switch, you need to buy Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like if you don't have it, like it's one of those must-haves because it's just so good. So I enjoyed it, you know? It has like far exceeded my expectations. I'm really excited to see who else will be DLC. I recommend playing it, you know? I could gush about it all day, but long story short, I think the update's really good. It adds a lot, and I really enjoy it. So there you go. Alrighty, with that out of the way, you know, that's basically it for my week. I had quite a busy week, as you can see. But yeah, moving away from that, I think we should get into the news because, you know, if not, I could gush about my week all day. So moving over to the news, you know, the first news story that I want to talk about is that apparently we have some information on the PS5. Now, people don't know it's going to be called the PS5 yet. I mean, that's what everybody imagines. But, you know, for now, it's just being called the PS5. And yeah, I mean, if you want to see the link in the description below, it has all the information. You know, apparently there's this website called Wired where, you know, they got information on, you know, specs and stuff. And I'm not really good at describing specs, a lot of it's like really technical. So like I said, if you want, you can look it up. But to make a long story short, what the PS5 seems to be promising at the moment, like the big things, a stronger processor that's apparently like so strong that not even computers have it right now. So, I mean, that is pretty impressive. The ability to have 8K resolution, which, that's pretty cool. It's going to have backwards compatibility, which is great because I don't know why the PS4 didn't have backwards compatibility. I think that's stupid. It's going to have more integration for PSVR, which, speaking of which, supposedly it's rumored there's going to be a PSVR 2. So, I mean, that's really cool. And besides that, I think that was it. I'm trying to look. Yeah, like I said, a lot of the other stuff is just very, like, tech heavy, which I'm not the best at explaining. But yeah, the big takeaways are a really strong processor, 8K resolution, backwards compatibility, and like they're trying to like really step up the PSVR support because like this first PSVR, virtual reality, like it didn't get too much support. So like that's supposed to be like a big thing next gen. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of a fan you guys are of like PlayStation and all their technology. I think it sounds cool. It definitely sounds exciting. It's definitely something I would like to get in the future, but I'll admit it's not something that I'm like dying to get, Like I've talked to a few friends and, it's kind of split. I have some friends who don't care for it right now. They don't have the money for it. I have other friends who are super excited for it. They want like the newest tech and they want to jump on board right away. Me, I'm in the middle. Like I do want to get a PS5 at some point, but I don't know. I mean, so far it's not really, I mean, the all the specs and stuff aren't really selling it for me. I'm more of like a game person, or if I see like a game I'm really interested, that's what sells it for me. But, we'll see how that goes. The last bit of information they had is that they confirmed that for sure it is not coming out this year. It is coming out next year. I think I've heard rumors either March 2020 or December 2020. And that's because it has to do with, like when the quarter ends and holidays and like different stuff like that. But, there you have it. Like I said, if you guys want to check the link in the description below, there's more, news and, more stuff you guys can look into. But for now, like I said, it sounds cool. And I don't know. I mean, if you're interested, look forward to it. The next generation of consoles is on the horizon. So there you go. Moving on, this next news story is just such a weird one, and it sounds like a bad April Fool's joke. Basically, Capcom announced the Capcom Home Arcade, which is a plug-and-play like arcade stick with 16 games, and I don't even know how to describe it. Like, okay, plug-and-play arcade stick with 16 games, that sounds good. Then you hear that it is like $260, which is ridiculous. And then you look at the thing, and that's where the story gets even worse. Like, the best way to describe it, like, if you're looking at my thumbnail, you have a look at it. That's literally what it looks like. For anyone who's not looking at the thumbnail, basically this arcade stick, it looks like someone 3D printed the Capcom logo, like the text, and then just added some buttons and joysticks to it. Like, that's literally what they're selling. It's a big slab of plastic that it says Capcom, it has buttons on it, and 2 joysticks. And that's what they're selling for $260. It has 16 games. So yeah, people have been making all sorts of fun of it. A lot of people are saying like, yeah, I ain't getting this. That's a pass for me. So there you go. If you're in the mood for a big chunk of plastic that's overpriced and barely has any games on it, apparently it is hitting Europe October 25th. No word on when it's going to hit, other regions, but there you go. If you want to buy it, look forward to it, I guess. Finally, the last piece of video game news is something that I already touched upon earlier, and talked about a little bit. It's about how Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the DLC character Joker, and version 3.0, this article came out on, I believe, like the 16th or like the 17th, something like that, because it was basically announcing it. So I put it on the docket as soon as I heard about it, and, all of that's out now, so, the article isn't, I guess it's not really up to date at this point, but I still thought it was worth linking. That way, if you don't know what's in the new update, you can like read on it. Basically, the new update It added stage builder mode, the video editor. It allows you to share content online. There's a new thing called Smash World, which is a Nintendo Switch online app where you can see like all this content for Smash Bros. That's what was added in 3.0. Also, with the release of the first DLC, if you buy it, you get access to Joker, you get access to the stage Mementos, you get 11 music tracks, the Joker route for classic mode, a special version of the Spirit board, and, also out now, you can buy all these costumes. New costumes for your Miis. There's like a Morgana hat. There's a few, things from the other Persona games, 3 and 4. They added a Tails costume and they added a Knuckles costume. So like I said, not really up to date now. I basically added it to the docket back before the update came out, like as soon as I heard about it. But, I still think it's worth mentioning because, if you want information of what the new update comes with and like what comes in the first DLC pack, you can just click the link in the description and it gives you it breaks it down for you. So, there you go. Feel free to take a look at it. Moving on to movie news. The first piece of movie news that I had, it was like the most terrible timing. This news story came out exactly last Friday as I was uploading the podcast. But, they revealed the Star Wars Episode 9 trailer. And, it's been revealed Star Wars Episode 9 is called Rise of Skywalker. And, the trailer shows all sorts of content. It shows a lot of returning things. Like it showed Lando Calrissian, which, I thought was cool because I thought it would kind of suck if everyone from the original trilogy got to come back except him. I was kind of like, that's cold, So it is nice that, he's coming back. He gets to, be in the spotlight again. I thought that was nice. But yeah, like Lando Calrissian's coming back. There's something that they show, like some footage that people are speculating it's the Death Star 2. So that's interesting. We get like a voiceover by Luke where he says that, people when they die, they're never really gone. So people are wondering if he's going to have a cameo or find some sort of way to return, that sort of thing. And then the big thing is at the end of the trailer, you hear like this laugh and it's been confirmed that's Emperor Palpatine. And so, yeah, it seems like what they're going for is that the Emperor is basically like the big villain of all three trilogies. Like in the original trilogy, it was all about him setting everything up. It was all about him turning Anakin to the dark side. Then the original trilogy, did I say it right? Prequel trilogy. Then the original trilogy is all about him ruling with Darth Vader, all that good stuff, till he gets defeated. And then it looks like this trilogy, somehow maybe he was pulling the strings, I guess. And, he's the one who's been behind everything and maybe he's going to make a comeback. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really have an opinion on it. At this point, I don't know. Star Wars is just so weird for me because on the one hand, they have done so many stupid things that have like really ruined the series for me. But then on the other hand, there's stuff that I really like and I think was kind of cool, but the fan base has ruined it for me because people just won't shut up about it. So at this point, I don't really know what to think. I don't really know if I even care. I'll probably watch the movie, but I don't know. It just is what it is for me at this point. I feel like both sides have kind of ruined it for me. It is what it is, I guess. And likewise, there's people who are excited to see that Palpatine's back. They think that this at least kind of puts the series back on course, because like there's finally like a big bad and hopefully this ties everything together, I guess. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's people who feel like it's like a cheap cop-out because it's like, oh, it was him all along and that means that, Luke defeated him. Luke and, Anakin defeating him at the end of the original trilogy. It was all for nothing because he's back now, like it's kind of a slap in the face. So I don't know. There you go. I want to talk about it because it's a big story, but whether you care or not, that depends on you, whether you watch the movie or not. I know some people, like I said, they hate the series now. Some people don't mind the series. Personally, like I said, I don't really care either way. It's kind of been ruined for me. But, there you go. If you're excited for the movie, look forward to it. And if you're not excited for the series or the movie anymore, then avoid it, I guess. But it's out there now, so yeah. Moving on, the next piece of movie news is that Disney says it won't change Deadpool. Because, you know, a lot of people with how Disney bought Fox, they're kind of worried that Disney might try to tone down Deadpool. And instead of it being like an R-rated series, they'll make it like PG-13 or whatever. But, you know, Kevin, I believe you say his name, Feige? Is that how you say his name? Kevin Feige, who's Marvel Studios president. You know, he says that, no, you know, Deadpool won't change. It'll stay the same. And, you know, they're making it sound like, no, you know, we respect what he stands for and that he's R and we don't want to disappoint fans, so we'll leave him. So, I mean, I guess that's good. I don't really know what else to say. That's what they're saying now. Hopefully they don't like backtrack on it. But, you know, there you go. If you're worried that they're going to change Deadpool, at least as of right now, there's no plans to change him. So there you go. Moving on to TV news. Apparently, Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham has a TV show premiering on Netflix in late 2019. This one's a weird one for me because Green Eggs and Ham, it's a very short picture book that's all about one dude basically saying, hey, try this new food. And this other dude's like, nah, I don't want to. And the other dude's like, nah, try it though. And the other dude avoids him for like a long time until finally he gets fed up and he tries it and he likes it. And the other dude's like, haha, I told you. How they're going to make a show out of that, I don't know. And if you read the premise, it just sounds kind of dumb. Green Eggs and Ham will center on a cross-country trip between Guy and the character of Sam I Am. The two are looking out to rescue an endangered animal from a far-off zoo. Along the way, the two opposite characters will learn to try new things, like a certain green-tinted dish. Why? What does that have to do with, I mean, the last part is what ties it into the book, but like what does the rest of it even have to do with the book? It has to do with a trip and saving an endangered animal. It just sounds so random. Like, it's weird, right? But, and then again, I'm not surprised, you know, Netflix makes all sorts of weird adaptations and I don't know. I mean, I think they should have just made like a little short movie. I think that would have been better, but whatever, they're making it. Apparently it's going to be 13 episodes. And like I said, it's supposed to hit, you know, late 2019. So I don't know. I mean, if that sounds interesting to you, keep an eye out for it and look forward to it, I guess. You know, it's coming. So I don't really know what else to say. Finally, the last piece of TV show news is that Archer Season 10 has a trailer, and it's been confirmed that it's going to premiere in May. So yeah, I don't know how many of you watch Archer. You know, it's the show about the, like it's supposed to be about like this guy named Sterling Archer, that he's a spy. I guess it's kind of supposed to be like a parody of like, you know, like James Bond and stuff. I've watched the show. I like it. I think that like the voice acting, like the character interactions, like make the show really good. I think the humor sometimes is pretty on point. You know, I like it. The last couple of seasons have been kind of weird because they've been more of like what ifs, you know? Like one of them was supposed to be like, what if Archer took place like in a noir inspired detective story? And then the one after that was like, what if it took place like in a classic like adventure, you know, setting? I don't know. I thought the noir one was fine. I thought that worked. I thought the adventure one, not so much. This one's going to be weird because once again, it's like a weird what if. It's supposed to be like about space. It's supposed to be like a weird like riff on, I guess, like Star Trek and stuff. So I don't know. You know, like I feel like last season wasn't very good. I feel like they are going in a weird direction for the show, but you know, hopefully it's good. Like I said, you know, one of the what ifs was fine. The other one, not so much. So I guess we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you're a fan of Archer, it is coming very soon. Like I said, it's coming out in May. So, you know, look forward to that. Hopefully it'll be good. I don't know. I'm just hoping for the best. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, you know? Moving over to anime news, this little news story, you know, caught my attention. Apparently, Netflix has commissioned an original anime series called Eden for a 2020 debut. Basically, you know, Netflix has worked with like other studios in the past to make anime, but this is apparently different because it says that this will be the first time that like they make it without the involvement of another like production committee. I don't really know how it is different, but like I guess it's different somehow. Like I guess in the past it's more of Netflix working like with a production company and they're just kind of like borrowing the show and putting it on their platform. But here I guess they're the ones who are like making it, you know, like they're gonna hire a studio to make it for them. I don't know. Sounds weird, but whatever, you know, interesting I guess. The synopsis of the show sounds interesting. It says, thousands of years in the future, the world is inhabited solely by artificially intelligent robots whose former masters vanished long ago. These mechanical caretakers have created the perfect utopian society free of crime, violence, and poverty. On a routine assignment, two robots accidentally awaken a human baby from stasis, bringing into question all they were taught to believe. So, I don't know. I mean, it sounds interesting, you know? Like an idea of like this post-apocalyptic world where robots, you know, are the ones who are living here now and they don't even know what a human is and they discover like a human baby. I mean, I don't know. Depending on what direction this takes, it sounds like it could be interesting and it could be really good. And I don't know, like the fact that Netflix is trying to make their own anime, I guess. I mean, I guess that's what you can call it. Props to them, you know, I mean, that's cool, I guess. But, you know, whether the show will be any good remains to be seen. How they'll distribute it also remains to be seen. Because right now, the way Netflix distributes anime is kind of crappy. Where, like I said, you know, like with Carole Tuesday, they only release it in Japan. And then once it's done in Japan, then they release it everywhere else. And even then, it's not in all regions. And I don't know, it's like a whole mess, but I guess we'll have to see how it goes. But definitely sounds interesting. If I remember it, you know, next year, I'll try to, you know, keep an eye on it and maybe check it out. But, you know, there you go. It sounds interesting. I guess we'll see how it goes. So there you go. Alrighty, everybody, and with that being said, that brings us to the end of another news week. As usual, hopefully there was something that you found, you know, entertaining, informational, something interesting that caught your attention and you're going to keep an eye out for, you know, that sort of thing. I feel like there was like a lot of news happening this week, and so I try to, you know, find some good articles, so hopefully you guys enjoyed them. And yeah, with that being said, I think we should transfer over to the last section of the podcast, which is the content creator spotlight. And the content creator for this week, it's a very small channel and it only has 2 videos so far, but it really caught my attention and I really think that this channel has potential. The channel that I'm talking about, of course, is called Giraffe-ish, as in the animal, like giraffe, and then ish. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the story is there, but that's the name. And like I said, it only has 60 subscribers, and it only has 2 videos, but I think like the direction this channel seems to be taking is very interesting. The first video they have is called Disney's Most Surprising Adult Cartoon. And basically it's about like this review of this like show from like Disney's like ABC Family channel. And it's this weird like adult cartoon that's like about like these cats. And it's like, it has like a weird identity crisis where it's definitely not a kid's show, but it's not really like an adult show either. Like it's weird in the middle. And it's like this show that I guess like ABC and like Disney in general, they're just like so embarrassed about that they never talk about it. And like, yeah, it's called Slacker Cats. I had never heard about the show before, but this first video is great because, you know, I guess we call him reviewer. She sits down and she just talks about the show and she describes, you know, what it's about and she talks about, you know, the creation of it, all this good stuff. She goes very in depth. And yeah, it's just this weird show about like these cats. They're supposed to be like slackers and supposed to be like very like adult oriented because like the cat, he's like in love with like his owner and I guess he wants to sleep with her, which is like, you know, it's weird. And I don't know, like it wants to be very adult and it wants to be like very risque. But then at the same time, like the humor is very dumb. I don't know, it's hard to describe. You'd have to watch the video. But it's a very well put together video where our reviewer talks about this show that I've never heard about. And it's just great. You know, I love videos like this where you get some sort of like obscure show. Someone tells you all about it. They break it down for you. Excellent video. Recommend watching it. Their second video is a little bit different, but it's also very interesting. It's all about, like it's titled Racist Hallmark Card, parentheses, Hoops and Yo-Yo. And basically, if you guys remember, a few years back, there was all sorts of like greeting cards that had these like little rabbit looking creatures. One was green and one was like pink, like slash purplish, and their names were Hoops and Yo-Yo. And when you would open the card, like they would like it had like a voice and they would talk. And I guess this video is all about how there's a card where they say something that some people misheard it and they made like this whole issue about it, you know, and it's like super stupid. Like they clearly did not say what the people are saying they said, but they're still making like a huge deal about it. And so the video is just really interesting because she talks about the history of these characters. She talks about the controversy. She, pokes fun at it. She discusses it, all that sort of stuff. And it's just a really well done video. Really enjoy it. And so like I said, even though there's only 2 videos on this channel so far, I think that Giraffe-ish, I see potential because I think these videos are very well made. I think the stuff that Giraffe-ish is covering is very unique. One is like a Hallmark, card controversy. The other is a show I've never heard of. So that's really cool. And so that's why I suggest checking her out. She only has 60 subscribers. I think she deserves way more. And yeah, Giraffe-ish, if you're listening to this, I think if you keep it up, I think that you will have a great channel. I can totally see it blowing up because it looks like you have some good ideas. And the way you edit and have footage and stuff is awesome. So keep up the good work, Giraffe-ish. Really proud of you. I think that you have great potential. And for anyone else, who's listening, as always, check her channel out, subscribe to her, check out her videos, maybe, give her a like, that sort of thing. As always, give her some love and check her out because I think she definitely deserves it. I see great potential. So yeah, go check her out, guys. Give her some love. And if you do, tell her that Wannabe Reviewer sent you. Alrighty, and with that brings us to the end of another podcast. That is one more in the bag. As usual, hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hopefully, whether it was me talking about anime from this season, stuff I played, the news this week, or, the content creator spotlight, hopefully there was something that you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. I don't know if it's noticeable, but my throat, I don't know. I think it's because I have the air conditioner on. My throat is about to give out any second now. So I'm going to keep this wrap up very brief. But my name is Wannabe Reviewer. You can find me over on YouTube as Wannabe Reviewer. I do the podcast and I do a, media review usually every Wednesday, whether it's about anime, video games, movies, or TV shows. You can check out my little reviews over on my channel, Wannabe Reviewer. Like I said, usually on Wednesdays. If you're interested, check it out. You can find me over on Twitter at wannabe_review. I give all sorts of updates to the channel. I retweet all sorts of memes and video game news, and I follow all sorts of voice actors and game developers. So, if that sounds interesting to you, follow me over there. And finally, I am the host of this podcast, the Wannabe Podcast, where, I try to every week sit down and do what I do. You can find me on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff. And yeah, like I said, my throat is about to give out, guys. It's starting to hurt. So, I'll try to be back here next week. I hope until then, you guys have a wonderful week. My name is Wannabe Reviewer. I'll see you guys next time.
There's a way, kind of breeze out, face reality, never be charity. The enemy you're fighting covers all society. Damn right, mommy's not here, gonna fight all night. Right here, shadow 10 o'clock direction. Seize the moment, destroy the nation. You rhyme slow motion, give me motivation. Breathe out now, and then I'm a rival. Round up around, spit out, all over. Rhyme like a rolling stone, come in the crowd. Watch out the moon, they this till out. This was this sound, and bombs whole ground. So round up, don't ease your pace, cause enemies brutal. Moment of truth, there ain't no truth. You're the only one world, one love. But the battle goes on, shadows all mass destruction.
Oh yeah, down, baby, baby, down. Oh yeah, down, baby, baby, down. Oh yeah, down, baby, baby, down. Oh yeah, down, baby, baby.
There's a way, kind of breeze out, face reality, never be charity. The enemy you're fighting covers all society. Damn right, mommy's not here, gonna fight all night. Right here, shadow 10 o'clock direction. Seize the moment, destroy the nation. You rhyme slow motion, give me motivation. Breathe out now, and then on the rival. Round up around, spit out all over. Rhyme like a rolling stone, come in the crowd. Watch out the moon, they diss too loud. This was this sound and bombs whole ground. So round up, don't ease your pace, cause enemies brutal. Moment of truth, there ain't no truth. You're the only one world, one law. But the battle goes on, shadows all mass destruction.
Oh yeah, down, 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 baby, baby, down, 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 down. Oh yeah, down, 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 baby, baby, down, 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 down. Oh yeah, down, 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 baby, baby, down, 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 down. Oh yeah, down, 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 baby, baby.
Battlegrounds right here. It's a man's world. Gotta get ready for this right here. Hey, yo. There's a wake and a beast loud, face reality. Never be charity. The enemy you're fighting covers all society.